Don't you just hate it when there's that one rail at the park which you can never seem to make it to the end of? In today's video, we're going to be breaking down how to make it to the end of a rail every single time. Getting a full pull along a rail can be one of the trickiest things in wakeboarding. But today we're going to be giving you 5 tips to help you make it to the end of a rail every time. Tip number 1. The initial cut into the rail is one of the most important things you have to get right. Understanding that the cable will naturally try to pull you back under the running wires when on the features is something very important that you need to bear in mind. One of the main mistakes that we see people making is the initial cut into the rail. As soon as your board gets on the plastic, there is no way that you can change the direction that you're traveling. So making sure that we have a good cut into the rail is very important. We're going to make sure that we have a nice, solid, consistent cut all the way up to the rail. Make sure that you flatten the board at the very last second just before getting onto the rail. A lot of the time we see people edging very early and hard to the rail, but then flattening off and riding completely straight. What you're going to see most of the time in this scenario is that you get pulled off the inside of the rail. To fix this, make sure that you leave your cut a little bit later, and we're going to have one consistent cut all the way towards the rail. Sometimes you're going to be edging towards the rail and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm definitely going to fall off the far side. The aim of the game is to balance your trajectory to the other side of the rail versus that of the cable pulling you back under the running wires. This is going to take lots of tries and is going to be a case of trial and error. The aim of the game is really figuring out the perfect moment to start your cut. It's going to take you a few tries, but make sure to try many different options and figure out what's right. The next tip is weight distribution. When it comes to getting a full pull on the rails, we can use our weight distribution to help you to stay on it. This more applies to skinnier rails, which you really have to balance on. But by shifting our weight in different ways, it can really help you to make it along the end of the rail. If we're in a boardslide position, shifting our weight from either foot is massively going to affect what happens on the rail. By shifting some weight onto the right foot, you're going to feel the board tilting that way, and chances are you're going to move over to this side. If we put a bit of weight on the left foot, again, you're going to feel the board tilt, and then you're going to move that way. Something very similar to balancing on the rails is an Indo board. If you can grab one of these and practice balancing on it, it's really going to give you a good understanding of how that weight distribution can keep the rail centralized between your feet. If we're in a 50-50 position, shifting the weight from the heels to the toes, again, is going to tilt the board on the rail. The aim is to really try and keep that rail completely under both feet. When in the 50-50 position, it's very important to stay very low to avoid losing your balance on the rail. Next up is to create angles. Now, on some features like flat boxes, shifting your weight from side to side on the flat part of the box is not going to help you to stay on. Instead, we can really try and create some angles with the board against the rail. Let me show you what I mean. Now, you'll see there that by creating that angle and catching the rail under one foot is going to help me to shift some weight to keep me on the rail. Pairing this with the weight distribution is really going to help you to find that balancing point and hold you on the rail all the way till the end. Now, one bonus tip for slightly more advanced riders out there. You can use the handle to pull yourself in towards the cable if you feel like you're slipping over the far side. Be very cautious though. By pulling on the handle, you're going to move your body closer to the line and going to create a little bit of slack. If you feel like you're falling off the far side, You can give that handle a bit of a pull, but make sure to stay nice and low and completely balanced on top of the board. If your weight distribution isn't quite right, you might quickly find out that the board can slip out from underneath you. So really focus on staying low, keeping the shoulders in line with the toes and the weight on top of the board. There we have it. Some tips for you to make sure you're making it to the end of all of your rails. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe and go and check out our Road to Pro course. It's the perfect roadmap to take you right the way from the foundation level tricks all the way through to more advanced tricks like kicker flips, air tricks, and getting creative on the rails. Make sure to check out the link in the description for more information, and we'll see you guys next time.
Mm-hmm.